Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the show. Welcome back to Left Side, Strong Side on the Toys by Chance YouTube channel. I'm your host, Chance Ellison, joined by my two co-hosts, Mike Deacon and Jacob Blunt. I'm sorry, this is weird to me. I got Mike back up there. There we go. Mike Deacon and Jacob Blunt and back once again. News is coming out so fast and so furious. Jacob is like, we shifted the show just to have Jacob back. So, Jacob, how you doing, buddy? It's been a while since we've seen you.
I'm good. As you can tell, I am still moving. It is my last week in this place. And then, we're back to my parents for a couple of months.
Now, real quick, did you watch last week's show?
I saw glimpses, not a whole
lot. So there is something we wanted to go over with you really quick before, because I went over with Mike. I want to go over with you and want to get your take. I think what I want to go over with you is
make it better, do it faster, makes us stronger than ever. Hour after hour, working.
Number 15. Whopper, Junior, double, triple, Whopper, flame grill taste with perfect toppers. I rule this day. Lettuce make.
What the fuck was that?
You put it in the intro last week.
I did put in the intro last week. Okay, but no, the real thing I want to go with you is you ever heard TPS Sports?
No.
Okay, so they're a YouTube channel that they make a lot of sports content, usually a lot of football content, a lot of great stuff. There's not no way a plug for them. It's just like, I do watch a lot of the content. They did put up a video called it was a top 10 borderline Hall of Famers, and I went over the list with Mike, and like a lot of them are just ridiculous.
Yep.
So I do want to get your quick reaction to these.
Oh,
so I'm just gonna rapid fire you real quick. So yeah, these are the people that they consider borderline Hall of Famers. So I'm gonna start with the least egregious and work my way down. So starting off, Cooper Kupp.
Yeah.
Mike guys both said that's fair. That's fair. That's a fair one.
Yeah.
Joel Bitonio, Cleveland Browns offensive guard. Like that's fair.
Yeah.
Here's where we start to venture into what the fuck are you talking about categories. Russell Wilson, which I know you agree with.
Yeah. He's not a Russell. He if he has another year like last year, he is not in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah, it's tough, but potentially, sure. Like I said, we're going from least egregious to most. After that, you have Derrick Henry.
If he gets on a team and wins a Super Bowl, he's a Hall of Famer. But he has to get on a team with a Super. He has to have a ring.
I think ring or not, he's getting in.
I don't know. Maybe I don't know. Just the last 2 years in Tennessee have really hurt him.
I mean, 2 years ago, he barely got her. 2021, he played 9 games and was still one of the best backs in the league. So I think he's still dangerous. After that, we have Devontae Adams.
I think Devontae Adams. I think's in. I think Devontae Adams will be in.
Chris Jones.
Oh yeah, I think he will.
But again, they call these guys borderline. Borderline.
Yeah, he should be in.
After that, you got Mike Evans.
No, I don't think Mike Evans gets in.
Look at his numbers, though. When you see the numbers, it's like, oh.
Yeah.
Like, this is a dude who's literally never had less than 1,000 yards in a season.
True.
Khalil Mack.
Yeah, Khalil Mack will. I mean, Khalil Mack's tough because he came in with, he was such a, oh my God, this guy's awesome. But then he's just gone bad team to bad team. So it's tough for him.
I mean, I'd argue he's always been bad team to bad team. I don't think Khalil Mack could have been an excellent squad.
No, I don't think he has either. But it was so obvious. Oh man, this guy's good. And then, the Bears sucked.
Yeah,
and then last year he was good on the Chargers, but
then the Chargers did what they do.
They're just so injury riddled. So
and then after that you have Tyreek Hill.
Tyreek Hill will be a Hall of Famer,
and then DeAndre Hopkins.
Hopkins is one of those ones where you go, he should be a Hall of Famer. I don't think he will, because if you actually look at the numbers, last year's hurt a lot. And then, but also there's the off-field stuff. He has.
This is the one that Mike even said. Like, I kind of get this one.
Yeah, like I could see them falling off a cliff. I could really see him not getting in.
Well, I mean, yeah, we'll have to like wait, and this is all. But I think like at least like 7 of those guys get in.
Yeah, I think several of them do. I think most of them do. Like
Yeah,
I said,
the only true borderline on that list for me, I think, is like Cooper Kupp, because he's had like one excellent season and then just a bunch of seasons like, okay.
Yeah, I think the one that like I said, Russell Wilson's the one that I'll argue with you over, because I don't think he's in the Hall of Fame right now.
Like, you still said he was like the least likely on the Broncos, which we all thought was ridiculous, because like as good as PS2 is, and he is very good. He's not more likely than Russell Wilson.
Yeah.
All right.
Like I said, I really think last year really hurt Russell Wilson's stock, and not only that, it hurt how good Seahawks were. That hurt more.
That's true.
Like, if the Seahawks sucked and Russell Wilson sucked, you could there's maybe an argument, maybe like but the fact that Geno Smith was incredible last year really hurt Russell.
All right, but let's get into this actual like moves that happened. First of which, this is one that was not reported on heavily, but the one I do want to talk about, because it is my boys making moves. Pittsburgh Steelers have signed offensive guard Isaac Seumalo from the Philadelphia Eagles to a 3-year, $24 million contract. I'm like, this is a sign that me and my brother were both hyped about, because I think he was one of the most underrated linemen in the league, and he was one of the most underrated pieces of that Eagles front five, and one of the best lines in football. I mean, they'll replace him fine, but like, this is a massive, massive get for the Pittsburgh Steelers.
And it's a big piece of need for them, and I've always said, when it comes to throwing the money around, the offensive line is next to the quarterback. I think that's where you spend the most. You should spend the most. This is a pretty frugal contract. That's not breaking the bank or anything. 3 years, $24 million. So pretty much all around a win for Pittsburgh.
Yeah, this is another piece to add in our run to the Super Bowl, because it's going to happen. Trust me, it's going to happen.
Give me more weapons, but
weapons is not the issue. Not on offense. I think offense we're fine. I mean, this happened in the line. The line needs work.
The line's a mess.
Defense, we need work. We just signed Elandon Roberts and Cole Holcomb for the linebacker core, which I did like both of those signings. And we got Pat Pete. So you know what? Super Bowl here we come. This is a piece of news that broke literally as we were ending the show last week. That's that David Montgomery has signed a 3-year, $18 million deal with the Detroit Lions.
It's a big move. This, to me, the Lions are starting to go all in. And I think, which I'm very curious about, what do the Lions do with this number 1 pick? Because do they pick up a quarterback? If one falls, do they grab one and go, next year he can sit behind Goff, he can learn behind Goff, because we've started to build elsewhere, and then use their second first-round pick for someone else? Or do they try and trade up, go to Arizona? Hey, what do you want for it?
Well, that's what I was going to say. If they have the opportunity to get Anderson, I think you have to jump on that. Say Anderson falls to them, like you don't pass him up in this situation. Going to Montgomery is a nice signing. Obviously, DeAndre Swift is only under contract, I believe, for one more season. Mm-hmm. So the 3-year deal for Montgomery is a pretty smart move. They can build through the draft if they need to with running back, but I don't think Swift is going to be on this team for more than the remainder of his contract. Montgomery is a solid running back. He's not the most exciting running back in the league, but you could do far worse.
I'm annoyed because he's the one I wanted. I would have loved to have him on the Bills. I think he would have been really good.
Yeah, and they're kind of in need of running back for reasons that we will get to later. But yeah. Someone else who's like bizarrely making moves, and this is not this might be the only Carolina story. No, it's not. We have a couple more stories to talk about with this team, but it's Carolina. Not that one. They have signed tight end Hayden Hurst to a 3-year, $21.75 million deal. I mean, Carolina is one team that has basically holes everywhere. So they can basically do anything they want and it would be seen as reasonable. But this is actually a really solid guy because Hayden Hurst, underrated tight end. Like, he's not like a headliner, but serviceable tight end.
And when you go into a rookie quarterback, a tight end is a very key piece to getting them comfortable in the league. So I like this signing a lot, actually.
You're getting
Hayden Hurst to groom a quarterback is a great signing.
Carolina, they don't have their first next year.
Right.
They're only really they got one pick worth anything in the first round like this year, and they're going to use it on a quarterback. Like, you kind of have to start just going and getting him some experience to help the kid. Absolutely. Like, this kid's going to come in, and we've seen what happens when kids come in with no help whatsoever. They're destroyed. So if you go in, get him some experience, get him some players around him who can help him. We'll go, hey, this is what you have to do, because he doesn't have anyone else in the quarterback room. There's no one.
He's got Andy Dalton.
That's true. Yeah, it is
okay.
He
doesn't have anyone legitimate in the quarterback room who is not going to be trying to take his spot.
He's got Andy Dalton.
Andy's going to be trying to take his spot. Andy wants that starting job. He's not willing to be a backup yet.
Well, no, I mean, I think we talked about it last week. I think Andy will be starting week 1.
There's a pretty decent chance of that. I think.
Depending on who they get, I think Andy will be starting week 1.
So I don't know.
My thing is this: like, if you have a guy who was like the future of your franchise, if your team is shaky, you don't send him out there to die immediately.
I agree.
Yeah. Part of me goes, yeah, but you need to take your lumps. You need to.
You do.
Take your medicines.
You saw what happened with Kenny Pickett, and look how strong he got at the end of the season. Yeah, and now he's going to only get better. It's Super Bowl.
But like, if he comes out and you're like, all right, go in. And you're just playing, like, you basically guarantee them, hey, we've got you for 3 years, and you can play no matter how bad you play. As long as you're slightly improving each week. This is your gig. This is your job forever. Look at Burrow. Look at Herbert. Like, these kids who, like, Herbert didn't start straight away, but like, yeah, I don't know. I just think it's the number 1 overall pick. You need to be starting them from the start.
I mean, it's also a matter of who they draft. If they trade number 1 draft Anthony Richardson, I'm gonna laugh because that'd be really funny.
I don't think it's. The more I think
it's not. No, it's gonna be Bryce Young. But we'll see.
It's Stroud. I honestly think they get.
You think it's Stroud?
Yeah, I think it's CJ.
Oh shit! So we're all 3 different. No, sorry, 2 of us are on the same page, and then there's Jacob.
Wait, who do you think it's Bryce?
No,
Bryce Young.
Bryce, I think.
I don't know. I think they're going Stroud.
Well, all right. We'll get into all that in our pre-draft.
Yeah.
Right now, we got to talk about some signings. Speaking of quarterbacks, another team in the same division has just gotten their signal call for next year. Baker Mayfield has signed a 1-year, $8.5 million deal with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. I mean, yeah, you're going from Tom Brady to Baker Mayfield.
Will it even be Baker? This is going to be a camp competition between him and Trask. Now, obviously, I think Baker is probably going to be the favorite, but this, they have to at least give Trask an opportunity to, compete for the job. But what else were they going to do? I mean, that's the big question.
I think this is a horrible decision for Baker. I think for Tampa, it's the right call. I think for Baker, this is a horrible decision.
Really? Why do you think that?
I think he needed to sit behind a real coach, a real offensive coach in McVay, who can actually use some level of mentorship and help him develop as a quarterback. He has never had that.
That's fair. Okay, that's fair.
And I think that's the mistake. He's going to go, because what was the problem last year with Tampa? Their offense sucked. Their offense was bad.
That bastard Tom Brady ruining this team.
So what? He's going to go next year to a bad offense again. He's going to look terrible again. And look, I don't think Baker is amazing or anything, but I think he is a good enough quarterback where if he actually had a half decent coach like he did with McVay, and he sat behind him for a year, next year they're going to have a really high draft pick maybe they decide, hey, we can go with Baker. We don't have to go with because Stafford's retiring at the end of next year. We all are assuming. Like,
I mean, it might stand to reason. We'll see how he does this year.
yeah,
Because like
But-
he's not that old. Because like I know like Brady's not the I know
35, I
Brady's
think.
like the exception, not the rule. But like still like quarterback, if you age gracefully enough, you can play until like you're like 30s, early 40s. How old is Stafford?
He's 35, I think.
Yeah, I mean like look, if,
so
depending how he
he's-
heals from this off season, he could come back.
the problem with Stafford is he's had multiple of these injuries. That's the problem. Is it's not like Aaron Rodgers. It's not like Brady. It's not like all these quarterback like Peyton and all them who, yeah, they went till they're 39, but they didn't have injuries. They didn't have, hey, I don't have a shoulder for 6 months. Like Stafford's gone through several of these type of injuries, and that's why I really do think next season's his last year. I think
We'll
this.
see
I
how-
think
we'll
this
see how
is
that
it.
shakes out. Bottom line, if you think it's competition, it might be. We'll see. I do want to start Kyle Trask. I want to know what that dude has.
Well, that's what I was going to say too. Is that Baker's going to be on a short leash in Tampa
Mm,
because of exactly that reason. They want to see what they have. If they struggle at the beginning of the year, they're going to give Trask the keys. So at some point, if this
The
is a long
question, like
season.
my question though, like, is Baker going to be working with the best receivers he has in his career?
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
I mean, like mine, like OBJ. Like OBJ was great but like him and Baker were never like they didn't have the great chemistry. Now he's got one of the best wide receiver ones in the league and one of the best wide receiver twos in the league, and Chris Godwin and Mike
And a
Evans.
really good. He's got White out of the backfield, who's a really good pass catching back too. So he's got three good options. on
The
that team.
problem isn't going to be his weapons. It's going to be his O line. That O line is destroyed.
Well, they
And
still have Works back.
sorry,
They will have Warps back. They will have Tristan.
they
Wirfs
will,
back.
but it's still not great. Like,
but Shaq Mason did get traded, which is not great.
so that's why I think. And again, you're going to have an offensive head coach who isn't amazing at offense, and his fifth head coach in 6 years.
Let's see, hold on. So he had two in Cleveland, Carolina,
With 3 in Cleveland.
three.
Yeah.
Oh,
This
Freddie
is-
Kitchens.
Yeah,
He'll be
it's
six
3
head
in
coach.
Cleveland.
It was
Three in
Freddie
Cleveland.
Kitchens, Hugh Jackson, and
Actually 4 technically because he had Hugh Jackson, Greg Williams,
Greg
Greg
Williams,
Yep.
Greg Williams.
interim.
Freddie Kitchens, and then the
Stefanski.
current head coach
Stefanski.
Stefanski, then he had 2 in Carolina, and then McVay. So it's seven. Eighth head coach.
Jesus
Wow.
Christ.
Eighth head coach in 7 years, 6 years.
Baker's
Six.
on year 6, I think. Yeah.
Jesus.
Like that's
Poor Baker.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He should have stayed with the Rams and sat behind Stafford. And I get it. Look, he would not have gotten $8.5 million as a backup. So I get it. But at the same time, like, Baker, this is probably your last contract. Whereas if you stay with the Rams, you might actually get another contract.
Well, look, if he goes to Tampa Bay and he's great, then he might earn another contract. We'll see.
Hard to say.
But Jacob, you want to talk about the Bills making moves? They did make one move. Jordan Poyer's back. Yeah. No crickets. Nothing. Yes. Safety Jordan Poyer has been extended has gotten a 2-year, $12.5 million extension. So you're going to a resident Bills fan, like Jacob. You're not happy with this.
I just like. Can we make one move, please?
Well, you made another move. We'll talk about that later. But you made another
We're
move.
gonna run it back with the team that couldn't beat the Bengals.
Well, that's how he feels about this. I mean, I think this is a good get for. I mean, look, I know you underachieved last year, like you have the last 3 years. For being completely honest, you underachieved. But losing Jordan Poyer would have been a huge loss for the team.
It would have been a big loss.
Especially since Edmonds is already gone.
Yeah, it would have been. Look, I'm glad we kept him. This is just me being very mad at the Bills team organization in general.
Well, no, save that anger. Save that anger because we will get to it. And also the category of sign, also from the same division. Juju Smith-Schuster has signed a deal to go to the New England Patriots. And you're reading that right. Yes, he is dead to me.
This was a weird one. He's not when you look at the list of wide receivers who were available, I didn't have him pegged for the Patriots. There were several other teams I thought were better fits for him. Maybe he needs the Belichick discipline, and maybe he'll find his footing. But
I am waiting for him to try and get Belichick in a TikTok.
Yeah.
I'm just waiting for that day.
I like I said, I have a feeling this is the Patriots. The Patriots kind of doing what the Jets did last year with Zach. All right, here's everything. Go you have everything. Go out and prove why we should keep you. And if he doesn't, he's gonna get cut. That's it. He's done. The Mac Jones won't get his 5th-year option, and he'll be done as the Patriots quarterback. But so they're going, all right, we've got you a Super Bowl winning wide receiver. The other move they made today, I think they're still going to make a third move. There's another move that's coming.
What's the other move they made today? I mean, we'll get to that later. I'm trying to I can remember what it is.
This is one they made today with the running back. Oh wait, they didn't make it yet. Sorry, no, we're assuming. Sorry,
Yeah, we're speculating.
It hasn't happened yet.
I haven't made it yet. Sorry,
I'm just wait a minute. This is gonna happen. But yes, Juju Smith signs a 3-year, $33 million deal with the New England Patriots. We'll see how, because when Juju's needed to be the number one, he hasn't fully delivered.
No, since Patriots don't come back up again, I can actually say it. I thought for some reason I thought they did. This is them starting the Juju's number 2. They're going to go get Hopkins from the Cardinals for probably a second, and then try and sign Zeke.
Yeah, maybe.
I mean that current roster is.
Well, let's talk about Zeke right now, because we did get word a few days ago that he was released by the Dallas Cowboys, which the reason this is funny, no shock. And it's always going to be funny that this is going to be his last play in Dallas.
Yeah.
Final play, looks like a penalty. Prescott over Terry Kirk gets smoked right away, and that'll do it. The 49ers back to the championship game.
What the hell was that?
The reality of that being is the last snap Zeke takes in Dallas.
But that's what I like. Patriots grabbing him. I wouldn't hate it if the Bills did, but I'd prefer it if the Patriots did.
I think they did make the signing that we're going to talk about in a bit, but those are the two teams I'd look at this particular point. Outside chance, maybe Carolina, because they seem to be making moves, but
Bears as well. But the problem because they got the cap space, but Zeke, because Zeke isn't a bad running back. He's bad for what he was on, and that's the problem. If you're gonna get him, you got to get him for cheap.
Mm-hmm. And he needs to be in a committee at this point. He's not an alpha at this point.
He's not a bell cow anymore.
Yeah, he's got to be in a committee.
Up next, speaking of the AFC East, NFC East. Apologies, NFC East. Jacoby Brissett has signed a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Washington Commies. They're not the football team anymore. They are the Commies. And this is after they lost Heineke. They released Carson Wentz, so they need QBs. I guess he's going to compete with Sam Howell for the starting job next season, unless they draft somebody, which I don't think they will, looking at where they're at in the draft.
They're not in the first round, unless
I would not be surprised if this. Like I said, I really do think this is that they're going to go for Lamar. I think this is where Lamar ends up.
While trading in purple for commie red, but that'd be something.
At least they attempt, and and this kind of is the reason why. I think they're giving Sam's going to go down to third quarterback and still learn for a little bit. I know all the stories coming out are saying, "Oh, we're very happy with him. We're very happy with him." I think there's a reason that they're saying those. Because you don't go get this level of backup if you're very happy with Hal.
Yeah, that's
There's
exactly.
cheaper backups.
He's a tie-end backup. Like Jacoby is one of the best backup quarterbacks you could have.
Exactly. You
Yeah,
you don't go get this level of backup if you're very happy with Hal. So I think
Mhm.
Hal is third. I think Brissett's second, and I think they're going to go out because he wants to sell the team, or doesn't want to. He's going to sell the team. That is a really good. Hey, we've got Lamar Jackson on the team. Up the price by $500 million.
I mean, like I will go along with this because in this world, in this reality, in this scenario, he is not with the Ravens anymore. So you know what? Yes, I hope you're right.
I
don't
just
care.
think this is,
I don't care where Lamar goes at this point. Just get out of my division.
like I said, I think this is the only team that I think can realistically offer him. And also, it's the only team whose owner is going to go, F you, I'm going to give the fully guaranteed contract.
That's true.
Because what's he got to lose? One, he
Yeah.
doesn't even have to fucking pay it.
That's true.
Like, why not do it? He doesn't have to pay it, and he screws over everyone else who's wanting to kick him out anyway.
true.
Like, because if Lamar does get this fully guaranteed contract, that resets the market. That is the thing that goes, fully guaranteed contracts are now a thing. I actually think that's why Herbert and Burrow are waiting. I think they're waiting to see what happens with Lamar, because if Lamar gets a fully guaranteed contract, guess whose contracts are now fully guaranteed?
I mean, I think Herbert's just waiting to go anywhere else at this
Well,
point. He's like, I don't want to. I don't
If
want
I'm
to stay
Herbert,
here.
I'm not signing a contract this year. But
If I'm Herbert, I'm not signing anything with Los Angeles.
But if I'm Burrow, I think what if you're the Bengals, why haven't you done a contract yet? Like legitimately, right now, it makes no sense why we have not heard anything about Burrow's contract right now. Because one, you need to know so you can start restructuring and build your in free agency. You need to know if how much you can keep your two all-pro fucking wide receivers that you've got. The fact that we haven't heard anything tells me they're waiting on Lamar's to see what happens with Lamar's contract, because that's going to reset the market, and it could be a fully guaranteed contract.
Okay, let's move on. Let's move on to our next cut. We saw this one coming, but it did happen. Jadeveon Clowney has been released by the Cleveland Browns. He did quit. He's one of those guys like Mariota. He quit on the team way before he got released. It does suck to see how far Jadeveon Clowney has fallen, just because this is a dude who was the first overall pick of his draft, and he's just like a guy. He's been like good, but like he's not been number one overall pick good. Like him at South Carolina, fucking excellent. Like, I loved watching the dude play in college. But yeah, I mean, we'll see
where does he end up.
He hasn't signed anywhere.
That's what I mean. So where does he end up?
Where does he end up? What teams are any even edge rusher that can? Because like wherever he goes, he signs for cheap. I guarantee that. Like he's not getting like a big contract anymore. But like, let me see, who's in need of an edge rusher?
Lions.
Maybe I could see him going to the Lions.
Get him second. Get him.
And like the Chiefs, maybe, because they didn't lose Frank
I was
Clark.
about to say the Chiefs. Yeah, that's kind of what I was leaning towards, like a veteran minimum kind of situation. Maybe a little more than the veteran minimum, but I think the Chiefs seems like a good fit for him.
Tampa, like maybe he goes.
Like
maybe New Orleans. We don't know, because they did lose Davenport. I think New Orleans. Maybe he goes there.
If I'm Clowney, I'm either going Lions or I'm looking at Lions or Chiefs, because he probably is ring chasing at this point. And given how, without no joke, Lions are probably one of the best teams in the NFC right now.
They are. They're on the rise.
We've seen multiple reasons to why it's a very low bar. But yes, you're correct.
So why wouldn't you go to one of those teams right now? Because the Eagles can't afford you. Like they're not, and they don't need you realistically.
Yeah. Well, let's get on the subject of the Eagles. We got news last week that Brandon Graham was re-signing a 1-year deal. Fletcher Cox, veteran D tackle, also returning on a 1-year deal. This is again the thing we just talked about. Like we kind of touched on it. Like they have like a really solid front seven. So yeah, they don't need Clowney, but I think keeping a lot of the pieces on defense are important for this team if they want to, continue the success they had last year, and especially because seeing how many people they were going to lose after last season. So yeah, keeping as many pieces of that defense intact as possible, I think, was very important. This is a very good signing for them.
Yeah, this is a really good signing for them. They've not lost as many as we all thought they would.
Right.
I think we all thought they would lose.
We'll get more into that later. They've not lost as many pieces we thought they would. They've lost. TJ Edwards was a big loss. CJ Gardner-Johnson, which we'll talk about later. But yeah, there's been bleeding, but not as much hemorrhaging as we thought there would be.
Yeah.
Right. Now the one sign that made me go like, what on earth is this one? This is a sad day for Bethany, but Jamal Williams is now no longer a Lion. He signs a 3-year, $12 million deal with New Orleans. This confused me for a lot of reasons because apparently, like the offer of the Lions to him was disrespectful. In his word, disrespectful. But then he signed with New Orleans for like nothing. That makes me like, what the hell did the Lions offer you? If this is the case?
Exactly. That's the exact question I had. I'm like, if he signed for this little, they just signed Montgomery for just $6 million more than that, and only his $11 million guaranteed. What the hell did they offer him? Like, I genuinely don't know. But I will say this for Jamal, one way or the other, whether or not Kamara plays this season, either he's walking into a starting role, or Alvin Kamara has been beat up for the past couple of years of his career. He's no longer a bruiser. Williams is still going to have that, goal line back.
If Kamara doesn't go to jail,
if he doesn't, Kamara might not be there. He might actually have found himself an outright starting role. So,
yeah. Well, Jamal Williams is now the public enemy number 1 in Detroit. Someone check the opponents. Do Detroit and New Orleans play each other next year?
Let me have a look.
While you look at that, I will go ahead and pull the next signing.
They do, yes.
Oh, that's gonna be fun.
I think they might, because they were both third in the division, so they should.
So they play obviously their group
in Detroit or in New Orleans.
In New Orleans.
Oh.
So they play. So they do the entire South. So they do Falcons, Panthers. They do Broncos.
The only thing that
Raiders.
would have made that better is if the matchup was in Detroit.
Yeah. Chiefs, Chargers, Saints, Bucks, Ravens.
We're not here to go over the Lions schedule. We're talking about free agency. We'll talk about that later. Up next, one of the biggest signings take place over the last week is that Orlando Brown Jr., offensive tackle for the Kansas City Chiefs, has signed a 4-year, $64 million deal with the Cincinnati Bengals. I hate this signing for a lot of reasons. One, division rival, obviously. Mike will be back in a second. Division rival, obviously, giving some really good protection. The thing I didn't realize when this got announced is the fact that this is a dude who, keep in mind, he turned down a 6-year, $131 million deal with the Chiefs last offseason. And this is what he got in return.
Yeah, but he got a ring and he now gets to go to another team. Like, I don't know. Yes, money-wise, fair.
Look, like, talent-wise, sure he's done, but like this has to be like one of the biggest bag fumbles in history.
No, Baker's is the biggest bag fumble in history, but Baker
never had a bag though. That's the thing. He never really had the bag. Orlando Brown Jr. had the bag.
Baker had a contract for 120-something million guaranteed.
Oh, did he turn it down?
Yeah, he turned it down.
I never knew that. Okay, so this is, but still, Hall of Fame bag fumble. This one right here. Mike, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm back.
Okay, we're talking about how much of a dumbass Orlando Brown Jr. is turning down the Chiefs contract and signing for this.
Yeah. It's interesting signing.
Not only are you leaving the Chiefs, you'd have to play TJ Watt twice a year for the next half a decade.
Mm-hmm.
Dumbass. I hope TJ makes you look like a bitch.
I'll laugh if he makes TJ look like a bitch.
Nobody makes TJ Watt look like a bitch. Nobody. Doesn't matter who it is. TJ Watt's the best player in the league right now. I will fight it. I will fight you whoever you are.
There's a guy named Patrick Mahomes.
I said defensive.
Oh, okay. I didn't hear the defense. I just heard best player in the league. I'm like, okay, hang on.
I said defensive. Up next, speaking in the realm of QB backups, I guess the thing between Carolina and Chicago right now, there's some kind of like highway or Mario pipeline we don't know about because PJ Walker has now gone to Chicago, which means now the best receiver and best quarterback for Carolina are now gone.
Yeah.
Mm.
Chicago.
Look, they're just in full rebuild mode, and
They're making a lot of moves. I like a lot of the moves they're making.
yeah, like I said, look, they're in full rebuild. I don't mind the full rebuild. They're going for it. Like that division is so bad, you may as well try it.
Yeah, may as well.
I don't understand what the Saints are doing, but anyway.
I mean, the Saints are making a push to win the division, which they could.
I know, with 25% less salary cap than everyone else.
Yes, because that's the New Orleans way. In the NFC East, we have. I mean, look, we said the Giants need to get wide receivers, but not really like this because Darius Slayton is now going to the. He's now extended by the New York Giants, 2 years, $12 million. They're a team in my mind that's just like straight up losing free agency. Aside from Darren Waller, like they made like one good move, but that's about it.
Who else are they going to get? Wide receiver market's really not good.
Like not that particular free agency, but also like, I mean, is Darius Slayton really worth keeping around? I guess you need the guy who already has built the chemistry with Jones, but
who else are you going to get? Like it's $6 million. Yeah.
I mean, like, it's fine. It's just like, why? Just like why you?
It's a pretty decent draft class. I think the Giants.
I think they definitely draft a wide receiver.
They'll find their wide receiver.
Yeah,
exactly what Jacob's saying. It's who else? Get the guy who knows the system. Slayton had a couple of explosive games this year. He wasn't consistent, but there were a few games he did play that he had some pretty big numbers. So I don't fault him on this one. It's cheap.
I mean, again, the Jones contract is doing more of the heavy lifting on that one, but it is a bad contract, and I hate it so much. But yeah, so that's where we're at right there. Speaking also in the realm of maybe backup QBs, maybe not. We don't know. We'll see who they get. Gardner Minshew has signed a deal with the Indianapolis Colts. I mean, he's probably going to be competing for the starting job in that place.
Nah, he's a backup.
I mean, again, it depends on who they get.
If it's Richardson, he starts week 1.
Yeah, if it's Richardson, he starts week 1. I even think if it's the fourth kid, he starts week 1. Like, Gardner Minshew's a good backup. He is a backup quarterback.
I agree.
And he is a very, look at what he did on that Eagles team. Like, that Eagles team. And he looked very mediocre.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's a backup. He in a bad Colts team next year, he isn't going to do much. So, I don't really see much out of it.
I mean, yeah, we'll see what ends up happening to Gardner Minshew, but it is. I am one reason I'm most sad about the Eagles losing, not because I lost money. That's one of them. One of the other reasons I'm most sad is that we cannot say Super Bowl champion Gardner Minshew.
Yeah, that would have been.
Yep.
That would have been the greatest, but we'll see. We did get word. So after requesting a trade, we got word that Darius Slay was going to be released by the Eagles, which shocked all of us. We're just like, you couldn't get trade value for that guy.
Right.
Because they were going to release him, and then they were going to have to continue to pay out that contract. It's $22 million over the next season or two. Several hours later.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Darius Slay is not only coming back to Philadelphia, he got extended to 2025.
Yeah, this whole thing felt weird, but this felt like either he wasn't actually released or
he was not actually released.
As in he was never intended to. As in, this was either a negotiating tactic, it was a fuck up by someone. This whole thing just felt weird, and I this makes sense though. He's a really good player for him. They need.
Arguably the best player on that defense.
Yeah, I do not believe at all for any second that no team was willing to trade for him.
There's no way. There's
The-
no
the-
earthly way.
and
that
that's
they-
why like
that
this was a fuck up. Someone hit a wrong button somewhere, or like this was just a fuck up, and then that's why. And then he was extended. There's no way in hell Darius Slade could not get any trade value whatsoever.
Yeah, it would have been ridiculous. But this is also a huge get for the Eagles defense. All they got to do is shore up that middle linebacker position. And there is a certain guy by the name of Wagner who you could get
For
to shore up the
very
middle
cheap
linebacker
too.
position.
For
Or very
very,
cheap.
very cheap.
But especially because he's still getting paid by the Rams.
Yeah, like he's getting paid. He'll go there for a dollar.
To me, Wagner when he got released from this, he's gonna go to the Eagles, isn't he?
It would make sense.
It would make a lot of sense.
He's ring chasing. Like he definitely wants
Yes.
another ring.
He does, and also this is also vitally important if the Eagles want to continue to stay competitive because the NFC is still wide open. They can still take it again.
Outside of the 49ers, there isn't real, and potentially the Lions. There
yeah.
isn't any real competition.
No,
Yeah.
I agree.
Like
That's such a weird.
and
such a
even
weird
the Lions
sentence. Their
aren't.
biggest competition are the Niners and the Lions.
yeah, but that's what I mean. Like the Lions aren't really there yet. Like we'll
They're-
see
they're
what
rising.
happens this year. They might be there yet. It's going to depend on if last year was an aberration for Goff, or if he's actually that. No, I'm pretty decent at this shit.
Let's see. And then comes signing. Also Chicago. They got the best running back from the Carolina Panthers now that CMC is gone. Deonta Foreman has signed a 1-year, $3 million deal with Chicago. Should be a great compliment to Khalil Herbert. I do like that committee. I think line is more a pressing need for them, but they can address that in the draft. They are at number 9, so they're
They're gonna
the
do
best
that.
offensive lineman possible. So I do like a lot of things Ryan Poles is doing.
Yeah, they're having a really, really solid offseason right
They
now.
also did sign former Green Bay Packers tight end Robert Tonyan.
Yeah, this
Great
again.
great foil to Cole Kmet.
Don't they still have 8 tight ends on there? The Bears have
They have so many tight
so many
ends.
tight ends.
Yeah, Poles making a lot of moves. I like what he's doing.
Yeah, definitely going in the right direction.
Speaking in the realm of tight ends, one enters, one leaves, one enters right back, and this one little seems more Belichick speed. Mike Gesicki.
That's a Belichick move.
This is such a
Yeah.
Belichick move. Mike Gesicki has signed a 1-year deal with the New England Patriots.
He'll be in a committee with Hunter Henry.
I mean, the two tight end system for New England usually works. Didn't last year because they wasted Jonnu Smith. Don't know why they paid him all that money to barely use him, but maybe Mike Gesicki gets lucky.
I think these are good. This is a good little 2 tight ends for Mac Jones to go. All right, you've now got yourself some reliability, and like I said, the Patriots this year are basically can Mac actually do anything for us?
Right.
That's all they care about this year is figuring out where is Mac Jones actually at, and if he's worse than he was last year somehow, then he's going to get cut. If he's only slightly better but still worse than he was in his first
I mean, I
season,
don't think he gets cut. I think he stays on. They don't remove his option.
Just demoted.
well, yeah, so he gets one more year as a backup.
Yeah.
It's going to really depend on how he plays next year. But that's, last year, the Bears, their number one question was, is Fields your quarterback? Jets had the same question. Well, you both got 2 very different answers, and the Jets are now.
We'll talk about the Jets in a bit, but yeah, the Jets are doing their thing. But yeah, so there's that. In the realm we have a lot of backup signings that I see about it. Marcus Mariota is now the backup for Philadelphia Eagles. I'm now less enthused for them to win the Super Bowl now because I don't want Mariota to get a ring. I think it'd be a cruel twist of fate. I'd rather Gardner Minshew get a ring than Marcus Mariota.
So you're no longer an Eagles fan for this season?
No, I don't want them to win the Super Bowl because I want Mariota to get a ring. That's the only reason. The only reason. I love you, Jalen Hurts, but no.
I mean, he's a good backup. And
Yeah.
for $5 million, it's not a bad price.
Plus, I think he fits really well with the Eagles' offense. Imagine the gadget schemes you can run with
Yeah.
Mariota as your backup QB.
I honestly, and also, I'd be using him for the quarterback sneaks.
Yeah. don't
he gets
let
injured.
Jalen-
Who cares?
Don't let, yeah, he gets injured. Who cares? We're fine.
Like he, you know, that I would be doing that for. Hey, we need 1 yard. Put Mariota in.
If he dies, he dies.
Exactly. He's a
That's
backup. That's the whole point.
That's fair. When we've released, Leonard Fournette has been released from Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Fournette's like such a weird case because like he was drafted to a team that like didn't want him.
Yeah.
He was great. That he sucked. Then he went to Tampa Bay. He was like, great again. And then now he had a down year. Rashad White kind of eclipsed him in the backfield.
I don't know if he gets another job. I don't know if he gets another team. I think
he does. I think he signs like for cheap. I think a team signs him.
Oh, depends how cheap he's. I mean, fuck, the Chiefs could get him. Like,
I'd be so fucking pissed. Yeah.
Like we're at that point where the Chiefs just go, seriously, none of you want this really talented player?
Yeah.
Okay. Just like, yeah.
You know, he's a guy that definitely might not get signed right away, but could be one of those. All right, we just had our starter go down week 3. We need somebody. Oh, Fournette's available. You know, that's a possibility with him. I don't think he's done in the league. I just don't know if he's going to get signed right away.
Yeah, we'll see how that transfers with Fournette. I do like Fournette, even though he did make my Steelers look like really, really bad, and I can't forgive him for that. But I do like Fournette. I feel bad for him just because because of where he was drafted, just because Tom Coughlin hated Fournette when he was on the team. But yeah, we'll see how that transpires. Then on the extensions, Titans. Houston offensive tackle Laramie Tunsil signed a 3-year, $75 million extension with $50 million
What are Houston
guaranteed.
doing?
I mean, they're getting protection for their new face of the franchise, and they've literally made this dude the highest paid tackle in football history twice.
That's what I mean. What are they doing?
Look, you cannot put a price on protection.
I get it, but like, you're rebuilding. Why are you using all of this money on a veteran? Why aren't you trying to build up and get kids and get people to build up? I don't know. This just
they've also made other moves we'll talk about later. But like, also, I don't like hate the signings because I do think Laramie Tunsil is worth the money, and you need that protection for whoever the hell you end up getting in this at pick 2.
I just think look, I was fine with Laramie Tunsil re-signing and staying there. I just think this is an insane contract.
I mean, look, if it keeps the QB from eating a mouthful of turf every game, no one's gonna be complaining. But Kendrick Green. No, is it Kendrick Green? Yeah, no, not Kendrick Green. Fuck, it's Kenyon Green. Kenyon Green is taking a little more time to develop than the Houston wanted. So they need that veteran presence, and he's also like arguably the best player on their team.
Probably is the best player on the team.
Well, and that's because the competition got traded. Brandon Cooks was traded inside the States to Dallas for a 2023 5th-round pick and a 2024 6th-round pick. This fun fact, this ties Brandon Cooks from being the most traded player in NFL history. This is now the 4th time he's been traded, tying Eric Dickerson.
I like this for Houston. You know, getting 2 picks for somebody who's clearly running on fumes.
And doesn't want to be there.
Yeah, doesn't want to be there. Clearly running on fumes. I don't know, on Dallas, what is he going to be? Is he going to be the number 3 or the number 4? Like, he's not. Yeah, obviously, he's not the alpha receiver because that's.
I think they want to be 2 because like who else would be 2?
Yeah, who's the number 2?
Noah Brown, I would assume, has earned it. Michael, Gallup.
Oh yeah, I forgot Gallup is there.
Gallup needs to have gotten more healthy. Like, hopefully this offseason he's healthier than he was last year because he won good last year. And
I mean, this does spell good on for the Texans because aside from the Saints, every team who has traded Brandon Cooks has won the Super Bowl after he got traded. It's such a weird stat, but it's true. Like literally, beside the Saints who originally drafted him, after every team who's traded him has won the Super Bowl after he got traded.
If the Texans win the Super Bowl in the next 2 years, every team in the world is going to be like, just give us Brandon Cooks.
No. Every team's gonna be like, take Brandon Cooks. Like, he's
give us so
Okay,
that we
sure,
can
and
trade.
we'll trade him. We'll immediately trade him away. Like, he'll sign. He'll be like Josh Johnson for wide receivers. He'll just sign so many one-day contracts.
The immortal Josh
The
Johnson.
immortal Josh Johnson. I mean, the immortal Brandon Cooks. Oh yeah, but we'll see. We'll see how that shakes
The
out.
Texans win and then the Cowboys win a Super Bowl. Nah.
We'll see how that shakes up for Dallas. But Brandon Cooks is like one of the most underrated receivers the past like 10 years. He's literally put up like 1,000 yards for 4 different teams. No receiver's ever done that before.
Yeah, like I think I look for a 5th and a 6th. This isn't a bad pick.
No, it's not
this
bad.
isn't a bad get up for them. You know, it's just one of those. Yeah, what's he gonna be if he's their number 2? That's gonna be.
I didn't realize Brandon Cooks. He's the good luck Chuck of wide receivers.
Oh my god.
Moving on. Speaking of wide receivers, Carolina now has what is, I guess, it could be the new number 1. Adam Thielen has signed a 3-year, $25 million deal with Carolina.
Baffled by this.
See, I don't hate this.
Well, no, I don't hate it, but like we talked about last season, he feels like such a Belichick receiver.
Yeah.
That's fair. The reason I don't hate this is that, I reckon the Patriots probably went, we're not paying you $25 million. I think the amount's too high. I think the amount's far too high. But I think for Carolina, you're at least giving your kids something.
Right. Yeah, the same as the Hurst signing. Reliable dude. Adam Thielen is one of the most reliable. He doesn't have very many drops. I don't think he's far from what should be a legitimate number 1, but he's going to be on this current roster. He is their number 1 at this point. That could have contributed too. Like, he could have went to any of other teams, but if he truly wants, he's not getting a ring anytime soon with Carolina. But if he truly wants to,
not according to him. Not according to him. He's not.
Yeah, yeah. But if he wants, the playing time and he wants to get the opportunities, it's probably out of all of the teams, with the exception of maybe New England, before they signed Juju, this was probably his best case scenario to get the most touches.
But again, and look, the other big thing is the coach. I think we're kind of underestimating a lot of these players probably want to go to play for Frank Reich.
That's true.
Like, he's a good coach.
Mm-hmm.
And I think everyone's kind of aware of, look what happened in the Colts. I don't think that's on Frank Reich. I think it's on Irsay. I think it's, oh, cool, you're a less successful Cowboys. Great. So...
let's see. Up next in the normal sign, this is a big get for Detroit. Safety CJ Gardner-Johnson has signed a 1-year, $8 million deal with the Detroit Lions. Again, this is a team that needed defensive help desperately.
Great signing.
Especially secondary help desperately. With this and Cam Sutton gives them like a really beefed up secondary.
There's really rarely in terms of a veteran player, a bad 1-year deal. And getting a player like Gardner-Johnson for this kind of deal is definitely going to help them out a lot. Player of need, the glove fit on this one. They went out and got the player they needed.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's a great get for Detroit. I'm fascinated by how this team does next year. Because I think Aaron Glenn is still DC, isn't he?
No, he's
not.
He went. No. I take it back. The Deuce went away. He is. Yeah, Aaron Glenn is.
That's what I thought. Deuce Staley's not there anymore.
Yeah, he went to Carolina, if I'm not mistaken.
That's right. I forgot about that. You're right. Wow, interesting. All right. And these are a couple signings that broke before, right before it went to air. For Houston, they made some big moves for the offense. For the offense, they got Dalton Schultz as a tight end and also Devin Singletary as a running back. That's the move we're just like, wait, what? I mean, I know you needed like a B behind Dameon Pierce, but also like, really?
Yeah, Singletary could have went to some other teams and probably had a better opportunity. I was surprised, but the Schultz one, that's a great signing. Schultz, great signing for them. We were talking about Hayden Hurst before. Same situation here. You're going to have a rookie quarterback. Schultz will be a great safety blanket. The Singletary one, I'm like, what was the purpose of this?
This to me feels like he went there because I think Houston paid him a lot of money.
That's probably the answer. Yeah.
Probably. I didn't get the contract deal before we went to air, but yeah, I mean they're really doing a lot. Again, we kind of talked about earlier. They're doing a lot to like beef up the offense, get whoever you're drafting some weapons. May not be the greatest weapons in the world, but they're weapons. They're doing stuff, and you got protection. Who says no? So we'll see. But Jacob, you talk about the Bills making moves. Get hyped. Damian Harris is now a Buffalo Bill.
Could have had Saquon Barkley, Damian Harris,
Saquon Barkley, Derrick Henry. Nah, we need that, dude.
Swear to God, if we don't get one of those two, if this is our running back going into the season, I'm just.
Well, no, you got James Cook. James Cook season is upon you.
Oh, fucking kill me.
Yeah, I'm pretty certain James Cook has got it. Like Damian Harris last year, he started okay, but man, he looked bad at the end of the year.
Our cap must be fucked. And I know it is. I know our cap is fucked, but it must be super fucked if this is what we're doing. We need a running back, a genuine, talented running back.
If Bijan falls to about 20, you start picking up the phone and make some calls.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know what we do right now because we need to go out. We need to somehow get a really good running back. And yeah, we either massively trade up or we have to go out and get, like I said, I will go out and try and get one of these, either Barkley or Henry. But
you could use it. If Henry's really on the trade block, I think Buffalo is one of the teams that definitely needs to go get him.
100%.
If Henry's on the trade block, we have to put up I would give up 2 firsts for him. I don't care. Really? I would go Tennessee, take most of his contract. Here's 2 firsts.
Okay, they take most of the contract. Sure.
If we could work it because they want picks, right? That's what Tennessee are in full blown rebuild. They want picks.
Oh yeah,
cool. Take this year, you're gonna suck. So have the cap, eat the cap because you're gonna suck this year anyway. So you eat the cap, and we'll give you 2 firsts for him.
So that's it for as far as I know Jacob's so enthused by this story, but the good news for him, this is the last actual free agent story we have to talk about right now. The last thing we're gonna get into is the Aaron Rodgers saga continues. We did get the thing you want to direct all your hatred to Aaron Rodgers, but it's not him because literally the day after, on the first day of the official league year, Aaron Rodgers went on Pat McAfee. He came back from the darkness retreat, whatever the hell that entails. That's what we need to do for one show. We need to do one entire show in the darkness retreat.
He didn't even do it the full 4 days.
No, he did. He said he went the full 4 days. He said he was over it after 3 days, but he did the full 4 days. I watched the interview. I heard everything he said. And then Aaron Rodgers, we're like, what is he doing? He said he went to the darkness retreat 90% retired. And then he said a sentence in football that's really, nobody. We don't really hear anybody say nowadays. I want to play for the Jets. That said that somebody said. Okay. So yes, he made basically he said Packer I want to be traded. I want to be traded to the Jets. So it's not on him anymore. It's not on the Packers and the Jets. Aaron Rodgers is not the one dragging it out, which is what people have assumed.
All right. I 100% believe that he had decided by the Friday before the league year, and told the Packers, yes, I want to be traded. 100% believe that. That's fair. I will cop the insulting Aaron Rodgers saying, you've delayed this. What are you doing? Never in a million years do I believe he went in 90% retired. No way in hell. Aaron Rodgers was not retiring this year. He is owed $100 million guaranteed.
I mean, it's guaranteed. He gets that anyway.
No. Only if he plays. If he retires, he doesn't get it.
Oh, yeah. Only if he plays?
Yeah, only if he plays. If he says I'm retired, he doesn't get any of it. That's done. So there was no way. He is owed $100 million if he plays. Doesn't matter who he plays for, but if he plays, if he is there on I think it's September 1st. If he's on that day, he gets paid $60 million this year. And then if he plays again next year, he gets $40 million next year. He was never retiring, ever, in a million years. That being said, this has been a colossal fuck up from both the Jets and the Packers. This isn't on Aaron Rodgers. I'll 100% agree with you there. But this
and I also got to bring up like the whole like list, like demand that he had. Apparently, like that's not true either.
Nope. That got blown out of proportion.
But here's the thing. The reporting never said demand.
People just took it that way.
People took it that way. No, yeah. So I'll admit, but the reporting was never fake. He actually confirmed the story, if anything.
He said he'd like to play with
was
players.
It was, I would like these players.
Yeah.
And Aaron Rodgers said, yeah, I told them those players I would like. That's the confirmation.
They went and got them. That's the thing. Like they go and got them.
They went out and got one of them.
They got the one that made sense.
But here's the thing. Yeah. Like they're not, I mean, Cobb I could maybe see, but they're not getting, they're not getting the other two. The Jets fumbled this by announcing loudly, we want Aaron Rodgers.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers didn't help by going on McAfee and saying, I want to play for the Jets, because now the Packers can go, cool.
What are you giving
well,
us?
We have all the cards. Here, if I'm Aaron Rodgers and I want to play for and I want to play for the Jets, and I'm like, this is what I do, and I'm vindictive as fuck. All right, Packers, I play for you. I will play for you next. Then I'll play for you guys next year, and you'll have to give me your $60 million, and I will make this QB room hell. I will make this team hell for 2 years, and you will have to pay me or cut me, and then it's even worse for you.
Right.
Yeah, so like we're not saying about Rodgers to the Jets because like the deal, he said he wants to play for the Jets. The deal has not been done yet.
No, he intends to,
but
yeah.
It's one way or another. This is gonna get done. Aaron Rodgers is gonna be a Jet next season.
He is, but at what point, if you're the Jets, do you start going, do we look at Lamar? At what point?
None. At no point.
I don't think it happens.
Even if, all right, June.
None. You get Aaron Rodgers.
No, the Packers, because it actually benefits the Packers if they hold out until June. It benefits the Packers because salary cap wise, they're $40 million dead cap no matter what. There's $40 million that if they trade Aaron Rodgers right now, they have a $40 million dead cap. If they wait until June, that dead cap they can stretch it over 2 years. So it's 24 this year and 16 next year, I think. So it actually benefits the Packers to wait until June. But that hurts the Jets because it's a lot of time in the offseason that they can't go together. What do they do in their draft this year? Are they assuming they're getting Aaron Rodgers? There's no real control.
It's got to be done before the draft. Like I think this will
that's what I was about to say.
This will 100% get done before the draft.
Because hypothetically, if the Jets get Rodgers, next year's draft position will be lower. You know, they'll finish. So the Green Bay is better off with regardless of what the compensation is. They should do it before the draft this year because it's going to be worth more than if they do it afterwards.
I don't disagree with you. They'll know exactly what pick they're getting. But if they're going in this year and say, well, we're going to have a $40 million salary cap hit, we want a first, and the Jets are saying, we are not giving you the 13th overall pick.
It's a matter of like what the salary and compensation. Like that's what it's holding back. Like the Jets and the Packers cannot get on the same page.
Exactly.
What I heard.
Because again, like if you're going to pay out, if the Packers are going to pay Aaron Rodgers' entire salary, then I think they should go first. If you want the Jets to pay his entire salary, then you're getting like a third.
But here's the problem: because of the way that the contract's structured, no matter what, even if the Jets pay all $60 million of the guaranteed money for next season, the Packers are getting hit with $40 million.
Well, that's all old money. They're paying him that
But
anyway.
yeah, but that's the problem. So until June 1st, they're getting hit with that $40 million old money in their cap. If they wait until after June 1st, they can delay it over 2 years. So it actually benefits. Like, we're not even talking about the $60 million. We're only talking like
The dead cap.
that's where it's. There's no way in hell the Packers take on 100% of that $60 million. But the reason why I could see the Packers holding this out until after the draft is because it helps them salary cap wise, and then they can go, well, give us a first now.
Yeah, I mean, like Mike, as our resident Jets fan, what do you think the Jets should do?
Well,
And what are you willing to do for Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, obviously, the sooner you're able to get the paperwork all accounted for, the better. I don't think Rodgers historically is not somebody who's always at voluntary workouts and things like that. So he's not going to be reporting to the team necessarily right away. So that aspect of it really doesn't matter. But when it comes to just like getting things done, doing it before the draft obviously is ideal if they can. The problem is you're looking at a player that we know. You're looking at a year. He's going to play for a year or two more. You're not going to get much more than that out of him. The Packers, if they want multiple firsts, that's not happening. If they want a first, there's a conversation for it. If Green Bay says, we'll send him to you for a second round pick, you sign it right now. You give that second round pick up right now. And I think that's totally fair.
Yeah.
Like that's fair compensation, I think. And that if they can get that, you do it immediately.
I'm at a point where right now it's anything other than a first. I'll give you a second and a third even.
Yeah.
I'm not giving you a first.
Something like that.
But that's where I'm at, and I don't think the Packers want to do it. And that's where I think they're going to hold out. And that's why I said, at what point do you make the call? Do you start going, we need to talk to Locke?
Well, I mean, you have to, at that point, you have to trade Aaron Rodgers anyway. He doesn't want to play for this team.
But that's what I'm getting at. Like, if the Packers do hold out, what do the Jets do? If the Jets do not have a quarterback by June, what do they do?
Zach Wilson
back in the saddle.
Okay, but that's what I'm like. No, do you do another season with Zach Wilson and hope you get a 40-year-old Aaron Rodgers next year or halfway through the season if you get Aaron Rodgers 2 weeks before the season, that's not worth it. Like, do you think Aaron Rodgers you want a preseason with Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah.
At some point, there needs to be a cutoff date for the Jets. There has to be a date where they say, we will not do this deal anymore. And at what point is that?
I'm just waiting. At this point, with everything that's happened, it's inevitable. HBO will be announcing the New York Jets on Hard Knocks any day now.
Any day now. Once the deal's done and Rodgers is in New York, he is we are getting Jets on Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I think it's happening regardless. The only other team that it could be really is Chicago, but with everything that's going on there, it's going to be the Jets.
Yeah, but that's like I said, I think that there absolutely for the Jets has to be a deadline.
Yeah,
for the
that's
Packers,
fair.
to the Packers. And if the Packers go, we don't want to do that, then all right. Then as the Jets, that's when you start making do we call them up or do we call Carson? Because that's the other one that hey,
that step down is we couldn't get Aaron Rodgers. We got Carson.
We got Carson Wentz.
And here's the thing: look, Carson Wentz isn't a good quarterback, but he's better than Zach Wilson.
I'd say if the Jets sign Carson Wentz outright just as a backup, by all means.
I don't know why they haven't done it. To be perfectly honest, right now, I don't know why you don't call up because then you've at least start going, hey. We've got something. We've got a quarterback because who else is available?
Matt Ryan.
That's it.
Yeah,
Mr.
Also,
Trubisky. No. Sorry, we're supposed to like Trubisky in a contract. Mason Rudolph.
Mason Rudolph. No.
is he still available?
We didn't re-sign him. I'm pretty sure he's a free agent.
Oh wow, okay. Like
The death. We've expelled the devil. Yes.
But that's where I'm at. You've got two very old Well, you got one who's retired,
Ancient. Yep.
like who Matt Ryan should be retired, and then you got Carson Wentz, who I don't know if another team signs him right now.
I'd be surprised. I mean, if the team needs a backup, it's possible. But the thing is most of the teams who needed backups have signed the high quality ones.
The reason why I think here's my thing with Carson Wentz is it's the fear I have for Baker Mayfield. His ego is too big to allow to go to a backup role, and I don't know if Carson Wentz will be an effective backup within any team. So like if I'm the Jets, I sign him, but then I release him if you get Aaron Rodgers.
That's fair.
I'm signing him as we're holding you just in case.
That's fair.
But because right now this is right now, unfortunately, the Green Bay have all the cards. The only way they don't is if Aaron Rodgers starts playing dirty, and his playing dirty is I make this quarterback room a living nightmare for this team. That's the only way because they can't trade him. They can't trade him without his say so. They can only cut him, and if they cut him, they owe him $100 million. Their cap can't handle him being cut, actually. So, if he starts making that room a living nightmare, and they can't send him home. They're also, because of the PA agreement, they can't send him home. Rodgers is the one who could force this trade right now. So if I'm the Jets, I'm asking Rodgers, force this trade. Like right now.
People already hate you. Just do this one more favor.
Yeah, you really just go in and force this trade and just be like, I will ruin this quarterback room, and I will make sure that Jordan Love is just.
I'll go kneecap Jordan Love.
No, but I'm more meaning just going in and just intentionally making bad plays, intentionally ruining moments, intentionally making the whole environment toxic. That's if I'm Aaron, that's the only play right now that they have if they want to get this done ASAP, to be able to get some cards back. But yeah, I don't know. That's where I'm at. I don't think this gets done until draft day. I really think we're not going to find out.
It might be on draft day itself. I think that's a distinct possibility.
But at the same time, I wouldn't be surprised if it's not until June. I wouldn't be surprised if the Packers go, we're waiting until it's most advantageous for us, and that's June.
Yeah, we will see how this shakes out. But as of right now, it looks like Aaron Rodgers is going to New York. Mike, you get hyped. And the NFC and the AFC East is going to be fucking nuts. If this happens, the AFC East is going to be nuts next season.
Isn't it crazy? Finally, New England is going to be projected fourth. Finally.
At long last.
Unless they're the ones that could you imagine if Kraft is the one who offers Lamar the
Oh, it could happen. That's a possibility.
I'd be so pissed.
Could you imagine? No, not only that. Okay, so if that happened, who's the worst quarterback?
Tua.
Yeah.
If the worst quarterback in your division is Tua.
It's Tua, who's a top 12 quarterback in the league right now, probably.
But yeah. But that's going to bring us to the end of the show. Mike, where do people find you at?
You can find me on What the Show podcast every single Wednesday night. And we will be soon making our own 2035 bootleg New York Jets Jordan Love jersey. So be on the lookout for that.
I mean, yeah, that's how it goes. That is how it goes. We talk about Jordan Love at all. Holy shit. Good luck, kid. You're following two Hall of Famers.
Yeah, good luck.
In your first year as a full-time starter.
Is there more pressure on an athlete other than maybe LeBron when LeBron came into the league?
Maybe.
It's a fair question.
Depends. We'll talk more about Jordan Love when the trade is actually official. But Jake,
Yeah,
where will find you?
You guys can find me over at the Lights on Screen podcast on Twitter, Facebook, everywhere, and you can find me at Jacob Blunden on everywhere else.
And if I'm at Instagram, Chance_91, check out the Toys by Chance podcast. Right now, we're deep into our Legacy sequel month, movie March. Indiana Jones: The Kingdom of Crystal Skull is out right now. You can go and check that out. We had a lot to say about that movie.
Oh yeah.
Thank you for listening. And we don't know when we'll see you again, but we will see you next time.
Oh.